Okay, so the map coloring station. So when we're looking at map coloring, remember the big thing about map coloring is that two adjacent, meaning they're touching and sharing a border, regions cannot have the exact same color. And if they only touch at a point, it doesn't count as a border, so keep that in mind. So map vertices. So maps are going to be regions, right? And they're going to label in the middle of the regions. Vertices, we label the actual vertices and connect them with edges. Make sure you can identify the difference between the two. Okay? And what this graph says is that A is bordering with C, B, E, and D. Alright, so if you look at A borders with B, C, D, and E, which is exactly what it's telling us to do. So, same sort of thing happens here. Alright, whenever we look at this, so I've got C. C is going to be bordering, it shows that C, well, I could probably draw it here. Right, so it says that C is going to be touching A, B, F, and D, and E, right? So it touches everything. So let's throw that little guy in the middle. Alright, so here we've got C. Okay, A only touches B. So when we look at this, so realistically, remember, we can always do A, C as being our outside. That works too. You don't have to, though. You could just do it either way. But let's just do it this way. So let's go with C in the middle. There's my little C. Right, so A and B both touch C and each other. Alright, so there's A and there's B. Both of them touching C and touching each other. Alright, but A doesn't touch anything else. B does touch F. Alright, so B touches F, so we've got F here. Okay, F also touches C, so we're good there. F also touches D, which touches C, so F touches D. Alright, so F is touching C, F is touching D. Okay, the hard part here is that F is also touching E, but E has to touch C. So that means that E, alright, touches F, D, and C. So E here is going to have to kind of share a border with all of them, so that would be something that works. Now this can look all kinds of ways. The point is that you got to make sure that E touches C, and it is, touches D, which it is, and touches F, which it is. Right? It is sharing a border with each one of those. It doesn't have to be a ton of border, but it does have to be more than a point. Alright, so let's double check everything. D is touching C, yes. It is touching E, yes. It is touching F, yes. Okay, F touches B, touches D, touches E, touches C, correct. B touches C, B touches A only touches C and B. Looks pretty good. So that would be a map that would work. Okay, that would be a map that would work. Now drawing a graph from the map, what is the chromatic number? Oh, what is the chromatic number? So when we do chromatic numbers, okay, for me the easiest way to do a chromatic number is with the graph. You may think that the map is better. I don't really care which way you choose to do it. The point is that if they share an edge, they have to be different colors, or if they share a border, they have to be different colors. So whichever one you want to do to find your chromatic number is up to you. Okay, I'm going to do it this way. One thing that I tend to like to look for are triangle circuits. Okay, because anytime you have a triangle circuit in there, you automatically know that you're going to have to use at least 3 colors, because when you look at this, right, so if I start with A as one color, and it doesn't matter what the color is, you just pick a color. Okay, B has to be a different color because it has to be different from the A, and then C also has to be a different color, and it can't be the same color as B because B and C are touching. And that will always be true if you have a triangular cycle there. So I'm going to have to use 3 different colors there, and then from there I'm trying to repeat colors as much as I possibly can. So for instance, F. Okay, it can't be green or red because it's touching both of them, but it can be blue because it does not touch A. So let's make it blue. Okay, and you just keep doing the same thing. So right here, D. Okay, D is not allowed to be red or blue because it's touching both of them, but it can be green because it doesn't actually touch B. So I can make D green. Okay, and then E. E becomes an issue because E can't be blue, can't be red, can't be green, so E ends up being its own little color. Okay, so E is going to end up being its own little color, right, because of that little cross there. So, in this particular case, the lowest number I could get it done with was 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got 4 colors, so that is my chromatic number. Okay, so 4 different colors. So if I were to draw this map so that no two regions shared a color, if they have a border that they're sharing, I would have to use at least 4 colors. That's what that chromatic number would tell me. Alright, so draw a graph from the map. So let's go the other direction. Let's draw a graph of the map. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different regions. If you want to count the water outside, you can. They didn't say you had to in this particular case. So we're not going to, because this is Illinois and stuff, so there's not really water all around this stuff, right? So, right, so then from here we just have to go through and create our graph. So whether you want to label these by what their actual state is, I can't even see what that one is. I think this is Illinois. So IL maybe Indiana, ID, Ohio, West Virginia, Tennessee, Kentucky, and I think that's Minnesota. There we go. So we can go from there, right, and label all those out. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 8 different vertices. Alright, so M, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia. Now, it doesn't really matter how I set this up. Like, again, I just kind of choose circles, but you don't have to choose circles. You can do anything you want. Alright, and then you just have to, I think it's Michigan. Michigan, so touching Illinois, so you just got to go through and connect. So it shares a border there. Okay, it also shares a border with Kentucky right there for a minute. Not a whole lot, but it does. It also shares a border with Tennessee for a little bit. So, Michigan, Tennessee. So you just do that for each one. So Illinois is touching, right? We got there. We also has that it shares a border with Indiana. It also shares a border with Kentucky. And it also shares a border with, that's it. Alright, it's only touching 3. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. Got it. So then you just keep working your way down. Indiana, okay, it shares a border with Ohio. Also shares a border with Kentucky. And then Illinois we already got. That's it. Ohio shares with West Virginia and shares with Kentucky. Everybody shares a border with Kentucky apparently. That's it. And then West Virginia shares with Virginia, which I put way over here for some reason, and shares with Kentucky and shares with Ohio. Okay, and then you've got Tennessee down here, which shares with, right, Michigan, shares with Kentucky, and then does share with Virginia down here a little bit. So we had Virginia and Tennessee that has right here, a little border right there. Okay, so that's how that looks. I know it's kind of hard to tell. I'm trying to make my little vertices. Right, so that's basically what that looks like. So that we created a graph, and then you would have to go back and find the chromatic number. Okay, so again, I kind of look for those triangles if possible. So like I've got immediate triangle here, so I know one's going to be, so I'll make this one green. I'm going to make, and I don't want to color over the top of it because it'll mess up my markers, but I'll make this one blue, and then I'll make this one red. Okay, and then kind of go from there. So if Kentucky is red, right, then that makes this one have to be anything but red. It can't be green because it's touching Ohio, which means it can be blue like West Virginia, right? We're trying to reuse as much as possible. Kentucky is red, so Illinois cannot be red, but it can be green because it doesn't touch Ohio, so it can be green. And then I've got Kentucky red. Can't be green because it touches Illinois, but it can be blue, right? Because it doesn't touch Idaho or West Virginia. And then we get over to Virginia, and it could be green, right? Can't be blue because it's touching West Virginia. Can't be, oh, it could actually be red potentially. So we might have to consider that. That one might be green or red. So I'm going to write both of those for the second because we got to see which one is better. So then here, This one cannot be blue, this one cannot be red, so we really want this one to be green, and then this one can be red. So do keep in mind that if they have the option to be both, you have to look to see what the other ones around them can be to figure out, because if I made this one green, then this one wouldn't be able to be red, blue, or green, so I would have to pick a whole nother color, which would increase the number of colors that I use. So you have to kind of look at that. Anytime you have one that could be this or this, you have to pick the one that makes the rest of them work out better. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, nothing is touching anything that shares a color, right? So that one is red, green, red, blue, blue, green, blue, red, right, blue, and you can kind of go back and double check everything to make sure nothing is touching, and it's not. So my chromatic number here was only 3. So bigger graph, only 3 different colors needed to be used. Okay, so that's kind of what that looks like, and then all over the place. Alright, color the following maps, use the minimum number of colors, create a graph from one. So that's the same exact stuff, just different graphs. The big thing here is just making sure that when we do our coloring, right, if it touches at a point, then it doesn't count. So technically, if this could be red, so could this. Alright, same thing here. If this was going to be black, so could this. Right, because those don't really touch. They only touch at one point. So 1 point doesn't count. And then you just kind of keep going from there to try to see how few colors you could actually do this with. Right, so this could really be black because it doesn't touch any of those. And then this, or this could be black and this could be blue. That would work, but it still gives me the same color count. This could be red, and then this could be blue. Alright, so I could do this with 3 colors. I don't think I could do it with anything less than 3 colors, though. No. Okay? Again, to me, the graph is easier to do to color, but that's just me. So here my chromatic number would just be 3. Right, and it even says that the space outside is not a region for this particular one, so that's always nice. That's it for map coloring. That's all the map coloring is. Okay?